Hi, this is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Monday! Welcome to Game Day Live, presented by the Let's Go Devils Podcast Network and the Primetime Radio Studios, along with Vancouver. My name is Vinnie, Parise, and I am here with Short Sky. We are happy to get you set, or sad, for New Jersey Devils hockey against the New York Rangers. Welcome to all fans watching on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, Twitter Live, and Twitch. The New Jersey Devils are looking to, we've been saying this for a month, save their season against the New York Rangers. Short Sky, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Vin. Looking forward to seeing what happens tonight. We'll get to see one of our two new goalies tonight, so we'll see how that goes. At this point, we keep saying it over and over and over again. They got to start winning, but we're sounding like a broken record, of which I hate broken records because that means that they're not good for your collection. Just show passion tonight. Just show some passion.
Yes, last time they played against the Rangers, they let Matt Rempe, the story of the NHL, or whether you like it or not, he's been a story of the NHL over the last month or so, basically since the Stadium Series. They let him kind of get in their heads. They had a 5-minute power play. They didn't capitalize. The Rangers took a lead. It ended up being an ugly game. It was just an ugly game from beginning to end. And now you have, the Rangers, they're on their first half of a back-to-back. They opt to go with their backup against the Devils. They're saving Igor Shesterkin, who's been very good since the All-Star break, for Carolina tomorrow. It makes a lot of sense if you think about it from a hockey point of view. And then tonight, Jonathan Quick goes against the New Jersey Devils. Now, there is a world, we said this in our last show, people are probably going to roll their eyes at me saying this. I'm rolling my eyes at me saying it myself. If they win tonight, there's a world where they come out of tonight 4 points out of a playoff spot. It's crazy. It's absolutely wild. Insanity. But, that's where they're at. It's just the facts. And, a big win over the Rangers. You never know what happens from there. But, man, get a win tonight. Can even if it's not to make the playoffs, just to not completely embarrass yourselves against them last year after taking a real good step against them last year.
Yeah, regular season, I feel like, if I remember correctly from last year, wasn't all that fantastic against the Rangers. But come playoff time, we wound up beating them when it really mattered, and that was in the 7-game series. We can't do what we did in the last game, where we just kind of showed up. That's about all they did. They physically showed up on the ice, and other than that, they looked like they didn't care. And you're right. The last game had a lot of things. Rempe, story of the league, blah, 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 blah. The 5-minute power play, that was a squandered opportunity. But it looks like the power play might be working a little bit better right now because the power play was definitely on death. And then they just looked lifeless against the Rangers, and that's the last team you should ever look lifeless against. As anyone wearing a New Jersey Devils jersey, you should always play hard against the Rangers.
Absolutely. I think when you play against the Rangers, it's just for more than making the playoffs, or you gotta bring energy. You have to be at your very best no matter what when you're playing against that team. And it just hasn't been the case. Oddly enough, though, you look at their season series against the Flyers, and they've actually played pretty good. I'm pretty sure they've gotten, 5 out of a possible 6 points against the Flyers this season or something, including the Stadium Series. It's something along those lines.
Yeah.
They must find a way to at least have a good showing. I didn't love the way they played against Carolina this last time, but at least it was close. They've been able to keep some of these games close. It wasn't complete crap, but that was a bad Travis Green game, in my opinion, because there was just no adjustment. They kept trying to carry it through the neutral zone in Carolina. Once they took a 1-0 lead, they just shut it down.
Oh, and that's just what they do. That's what they do.
Exactly. And to their credit, Nico Hischier and Jack Hughes together made a sick play that led to them getting the game tied. But then when Nico Dawes gives up a goal that he should probably stop, on a shot that's from the corner, I know it was a perfectly placed shot, but that whole side should just be closed down. You're a goalie. You would like to think that whole side gets shut down. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's a part of it too is the style which goalies play right now. I mean, Jack hits that hole on the side quite often, banking off a
Mhm.
goalie's head. So it's a percentage play at this point. But yeah, I mean, we definitely need uh, Capo. How do you pronounce his last name? I still don't
Capo
know yet.
Kakinen.
Capo Kakinen. We need Capo Kakinen to come in. I believe he was in net. He may have been in net when the Rangers beat the Sharks 6-5. I was trying to look at that earlier. I know Mac Black was in the game that the Sharks beat the Rangers. Um, it's at this point you got to throw whatever against the wall and hope it sticks because um, something's got to work, something's got to change. And
Absolutely.
just a win against the Rangers, and not only a win against the Rangers because they're your chief rival. These are Metro Division points. These are big points, and potentially, two. We should say, potentially two obtainable points. Two of the more attainable points over the next 4 games because you got Dallas, Arizona, which are the obvious most obtainable of the two, and Vegas coming up on the road. Although this really isn't that much of a road game, because it's right in the city. So I don't know. These are obtainable points because the Rangers are also without Trouba. He's been busy doing an art show, I heard somewhere, so he can't play tonight. He's doing art with his elbows or something like that. So he's out tonight. So let's take advantage of it. And Jonathan Quick is in net, and yeah, he is their backup, but he's played pretty damn well too. So we just gotta. It's a winnable game. Any game is winnable. It's just what Devils team is going to show up tonight.
Absolutely. You can argue Jonathan Quick has been the best backup goalie in the NHL this season, outside of maybe
Oh,
the two
absolutely.
guys in Boston. One of
Yep.
them's considered the backup, I guess. They're both starters, but Jonathan
Yeah.
Quick's the best true backup in the NHL, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Capo Kakinen, the fans remember the Devils scoring 7 on him in 2 periods when
Mm-hmm.
the Devils played the Sharks last week. I don't remember watching that game and being like, man, this guy stinks. I remember thinking, wow, this Sharks team stinks. If a team
Mm-hmm.
plays a little bit more sound, and listen, as bad as the Devils have been this year, they almost double up the Sharks in standings points. Like, it's not even close. Like, people who call the Devils the worst team, and stop.
No,
That's
we are
not what
far
it
from it.
is. They are
We're far
far
from it.
from it. That team is terrible in San Jose,
Shoot.
and
The
they
only team that's somewhat worse is the Chicago Blackhawks. You're technically your local team.
yeah, but they have Connor Bedard to make it interesting every now and again. Like
Yeah.
the Sharks are they are bad, and
Yeah.
it's I don't hold that against Capo Kakinen. I look at some of his stats, high danger chances, power play percent. Like it's a better situation. I think we'll see how he fares tonight against the Rangers, who are a very good team. I'm excited to see how it goes, though. It can't get much worse than the goaltending that they've had for most of this season. Now, we've seen a certain captain of the New Jersey Devils step up over the last handful of weeks since the All-Star break. Shorts guy, our
Mm-hmm.
friend Nico Hischier is third in the NHL in 5-on-5 points. He is tied with David Pastrnak and Leon Draisaitl for third in 5-on-5 points. Only the great Connor McDavid and the Nate Dowg, Nathan McKinnon have more than him. What have you seen from the captain over the last handful of weeks?
I see the captain trying to really put this team on his back and try to save something of this season. Doing what a captain should do. Trying to lead by example, which I'm more and more convinced that Nico Hischier may not be that loud, bombastic captain that let's say a Matthew Tkachuk is. He's more of a quiet selection, very selective what he says, but he leads by example. And I feel like that's what he's trying to do. I mean, it's got to be plainly obvious to him and the rest of the team that um, this is not the season that the Devils or any of us were hoping for or were expecting. And knowing that there's still a chance, which we talk about it all the time. I mean, like you said, it's highly possible the Devils could be 4 points out of a playoff spot tonight, which is still incredible for what feels like it's been a miserable season of just nothing but losses.
100%.
We'll see. I mean, it's just I've been very happy with his play. He seems to be doing all he can to keep this ship afloat.
Absolutely. I I think about what the Islanders have done. They've won
Hmm.
6 in a row, and they were, like, way back at the Devils, so that's why they're not in a playoff spot, like, by winning 6 in a row. But if the Devils figured out a way to win 6 in a row, they'd be in. Like, that they'd be
Yeah.
comfortably in a playoff spot, and there are a couple games here and there throughout the season, like Columbus they lost to once, losing to San Jose earlier in the season. I mean, when the Devils beat San Jose this most recent time 7-2, that should make people even
Hmm.
more mad about losing to them at the Rock, a couple months ago. Same thing, 2 losses to Anaheim, a loss to Montreal. I mean, it is just, you look at some of these games, like these teams lower than
Yeah.
them in the standings. That's going to be the difference in making or missing the playoffs this season, most likely. And hopefully, a guy like Heischer is able to keep what he's doing going, because that's their best chance at maybe having a respectable finish to the season, so they could, at minimum, come into next year feeling good about themselves.
Yeah, and on top of that, we had 2 or 3, maybe even at one point potentially 4 games at hand, and we're now right there in the mix with pretty much even, if not one, at least 1 or 2 games ahead of some of the teams that we're chasing. So those are going to be our other really disappointing losses, is those games we had where we could have done something, along with, like you pointed out, all those losses against teams like Anaheim that just, those are the ones you wish you had back.
They really are, and that's just proof. The NHL, there's 32 teams. 32 teams can
Hmm.
beat the other 32 teams on any given night. It doesn't matter if you're Chicago, Dallas, San Jose, the Rangers, none of it
Hmm.
matters. It's about who plays the best over an 82 game stretch. Those top 16 teams get in. So far, that hasn't been the Devils. We'll see if they're able to finish strong enough to at least get close and make things interesting. Last game of the season against the Islanders, I'm pretty sure. Um, I I don't know.
Yes. Yep. That's the last game of the season against the Islanders.
Absolutely. So, and one thing we did see late last game, Timo Meyer scored,
Hmm.
and that kind of gave the Devils a chance to get it tied up. They gave up a second empty net goal, which is never what you want to see. But, that's goals in 5 straight games for Timo now. He's been absolutely on fire since the Devils made a coaching change, and I'm not sure if the coaching change has something to do with it. I ranked him as the player second most needing of a coaching change behind Alexander Holtz. He might have been number one, because clearly being on the top power play unit, being on his normal position side, it just kind of seems like Timo Meyer's been back in business to the guy that the Devils traded for. He's going to get past 20 goals, and nobody saw that coming when he was sitting on 8 for a month.
Yeah. Yeah. This is, I think, the Timo Meyer everyone was hoping for. Just an offensive I guess we can call it an offensive explosion since the coaching change, and like you rightfully said, putting him in his proper position. So this is what we were hoping for. Everyone complaining, oh, he's not scoring, he's not scoring. He's scoring now. Better late than never. And maybe this is one of those pieces the Devils need to push themselves over in order to make the playoffs.
Absolutely. And then, you got people, there's a lot of discourse about Jack Hughes. Jack Hughes is 11th in the NHL in points per game. Okay, he's one of the very best offensive players in the NHL, and he's having a down year, and he's 11th in the league in points per game. Like, let's relax on the Jack Hughes dialogue here. He's the best player offensively on the team. It's not close. Yes. Does he need to bury when he beats the goalie like that and then he rifles it wide over the top? Yes. Last year's Jack Hughes, I think, proved would have buried that. Something's up with him. I don't know if he's playing 100%. I think he is. I actually do think he is, because the way he dances around people. It's just one of those things. Like, I remember when Connor was real young, and Connor, there was all about the offense. It was all about creating chances.
Hmm.
There comes like a fine line of like figuring out how to become an elite player with that elite skill that you have. Jack Hughes is still working on it. He's 22 years old. It took McKinnon's first 3 years of his career, 50 points, 50 points, 30 points, 50 points. Then he finally had that breakout. Jack's already had a breakout. He'll probably break 80 points this season. It's not like he's taking a significant step back. There was a lot of injuries, a lot of inconsistencies with coaching. I hate him on the wing. It's one of, like, he's going to be fine. Let's relax on Jack Hughes a little bit. He's amazing.
Is it possible Jack is trying to do too much
Yes.
and thinking he needs to do everything, instead of, like you said, just focusing on trying to score, instead of saying I need to do everything and then score?
Absolutely. You know, a good comparison, because I had him in my own backyard, like you pointed out earlier in the show. It reminds me of like when the going got tough for the Hawks when they were real good.
Hmm.
Patrick Kane is amazing. He's going to score a crap ton of points. He's going to go to the Hall of Fame. You can always count on him for a clutch goal. But when the going gets tough, it was Taves. It was Jonathan Taves, always.
Hmm.
And you see that with the Devils. Their second best player is their most important player, and that's Nico Hischier. We've seen the more adversity the Devils face, the better Nico Hischier becomes. He is just Mr. Clutch, Mr. Everything for this team. And I think with those two guys balancing each other the way that they do, everything's going to fall into place here over the next handful of years. Just because this year is a down year, the future of the team is not in jeopardy at all. They need to figure out the goaltending, make some adjustments on defense. I think a lot of the way they defend will improve just by guys simply getting older, better, stronger,
Hmm.
smarter. You know, Luke Hughes, Ball, Nemitz, all those guys, better, bigger, stronger, smarter as time goes on. Hamilton will be back. I don't know. I just, with those two centermen leading the way, though, it's hard for me to lose my faith in the long term with this team.
Oh, I think long term, yeah, we're not going to have any problems going forward long term. You know, we had success last year, and we all expected equal, or it was hard to. It would have been very hard to go better than last year, but equal, at least equal to, or right near what last season was. And this is a far cry from last season. So I think that's where the disappointment lies, because we've gone through a lot of disappointment since 2012. I mean, that's without a doubt. We've been mediocre to crap for a long time. And if we finally had some success, and it was great, and it felt really good, and the atmosphere outside of the Prudential Center, outside of American Whiskey, was fantastic. It just, to go what feels like a step back is tough. But you're right. Like, these defensemen will get better. I know I'm very critical of the defensemen, and they will eventually get better, and they will become the defenseman we're hoping for. They've been thrust into a position that they weren't ready for.
Absolutely. And somebody says in the chat on YouTube, play your game, Herb Brooks.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Former
the
coach of the
bar
New
down,
Jersey Devils.
yeah, former coach of the New Jersey Devils, the only coach in NHL history to coach the Devils and the Rangers. Little tidbit.
There you go.
Micah Ruzioni might come on the Bar Down Talking Hockey podcast.
That's awesome.
So that is something that might happen soon, and I think all Devils fans are going to want to hear that. I'll do my best to promote the crap out of that too.
Yeah,
but
please.
the captain.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I'm hoping
That is
that
so cool.
comes through. I got his email today from him. I sent him a DM on Instagram. He's like, email me. I'm like, okay, dude. And he's got, I don't know if is he a professor or a coach at BU? It's some at bu.edu email. I'm excited to chat with him though.
Yeah, that'll be really cool. You're going to have to let me know. You're definitely going to have to let me know.
Absolutely. Rizzo. Hell yeah. But yeah, you know what? I think it's time for people in the chat right now to go give their predictions.
Prediction
now, Shorts Guy, what are predictions brought to you
by? Man, they're going to be brought to us by something, some kind of good red beverage. Let's see. I don't know. What do you think? And something, and Crew Brew.
And Crew Brew. Join our crew today and drink and Crew Brew, where we make winning memories together, one crew at a time. And Crew Brew.
I love it. we always shoehorn that in somewhere.
I'm always finding a way. It's going every episode till we die. That's just
awesome.
Fact.
I'm down.
Absolutely. Man, Shorts Guy, while these predictions are coming in, flowing in. They're flowing in right now.
Flowing in.
What do you think?
Right.
If you pick the Rangers, I'm not reading it. Sorry.
No, absolutely not. And there's one you're not going to read. I just saw. There's one you're going to read, or one that you're not going to read. So
I might read the comment from Mo Dean. That's funny.
All right. So tonight's game. It's, man, just come out. I hope they come up with some passion. We're a little bit bigger than we were last time we played them. Not that really makes a difference for scoring, but with the new coach, new voice behind the bench, new goalie in net, it could go anyway, but I'm going to go 4-3 Devils.
All right. All right. I like Art's prediction, over 6.5 goals. Not giving me a winner, just throwing a little betting prop there. I like that. Love
Okay.
that.
I'm going to look what that over is.
Yeah, I think 6.5, which I like it.
But I'm going to see what the odds are for that.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Select the Boy says 4-2 Devils. Joseph says 5-0 Devils. Ramona says 4-2 Devils. Brooke says 4-3 and lots of fights, hopefully.
Yeah.
Made by G Rod says 3-2 Devils. Supernova says not asking for much this season at this point, just one stinking win. I'm with you on that. Just get one stinking win against the New York Rangers. Beachmaster says 5-3 Devils. Michael says 3-2 Devils. Zach says 4-2 Devils. Yeah, that's what we got in the YouTube chat as of right now. I'll continue to read more. We got a Sam Wu prediction. Excuse me.
We do.
The Sam Wu prediction. Not the most outrageous thing of all time.
No, we've seen more.
Yeah, we've seen more. He thinks the Devils are going to beat the New York Rangers by a final score of 6-2.
6-2. Okay. And
Shorts guy, what do you think?
Well, first of all, the over is at -112 at 6.5. The over was set at 6.5 on DraftKings, and it's -112. I just want to see the Devils show life in this game, and got to get these points. What's your prediction, Vin? What's your prediction tonight?
I think they are going to win by a final score. I'm going to go 4-3.
Okay.
I like 4-3. Have a close, tight game and pull out a win. You almost beat them earlier in the season, and then you gave up that bad goal late. Don't do that. It was right before Christmas. I forget what the exact day was. It was around Christmas time, and it was kind of a late first game against the Rangers. But
they're getting later and later every year.
Yeah, they are. You know what? They want to push the rivalry games towards the end of the season.
Yeah, when the points count more. I'm trying to find out when the first game was.
It had to be. I'm trying to think.
Oh,
like
it was
where
November.
I was.
It was November.
Oh, it was November.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, November 18.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's kind of early now. I mean, usually these rivalry games, these divisional games, which you really want divisional games towards the end of your season anyway, because that's where the big points are and the big shifts can happen. So I understand that. But man, it would be nice to have some rivalry games a little bit earlier in the season to kick it off, like one, just to kick off your season. But yeah, it's going to be big. We see them again in April.
And that one could mean a lot more depending on how things go in between now and then. We can't thank everybody enough for coming into our chat today and previewing the game that you are going to watch against the New York Rangers from the New Jersey Devils tonight. Make sure you tune in after the game, where you can listen to Scotty of Sirius XM and Sam Wu break down the game that was. Hopefully it is a New Jersey Devils victory over the New York Rangers. Shorts guy, is there anything else you want to say before we head out?
No, I think that's it. Just come out and play well and play with heart and beat the Rangers.
Absolutely. I hope everybody enjoyed the show today. And like I said, after the show is over, make sure you tune in. Scotty, Sirius XM, Sam Wu, Devils After Dark. It's not a late game this week, so that's obviously good news. You'll be able to get to bed on time, hopefully. Maybe if they win, go throw a party because they beat the New York Rangers. But for everybody here at the Let's Go Devils Podcast Network, Shorts Guy, my name is Vinnie Parise for the great Sam Wu. And as he says always, let's go Devils.